Hey, sucker.
Dude, Eskinard, you're there like every week. What's up?
Bitch, don't talk back to me. Also, who should I level 80 first? You know it should be me. Oh.
No matter what I say, everyone's gonna 80 you first. It's like, they love you, Eskinard. They just love you.
If they don't, cruel son!
Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another 7 Lessons Grand Cross video. For this, be going over level 80. I am going to go over each of the units in the game, and there's going to be time steps, of course, in the description below, and of course in the time bar here, so you can see where the units are lying, and give you an idea of what to expect for the units. The criteria that I'm going to be using for leveling up the units is, you're going to be leveling up PvP teams first, of course. If you haven't done that, if you haven't heard that a million times already, I would recommend doing that. PvP teams are the way to go. It's kind of a duh. But if you don't like PvP and you want to do PvE and you want to focus on like a roundabout way of what to focus on, there's many different units you can focus on, and definitely consider building out units for Training Cave, etc., in order to get yourself a well-rounded account. Got him. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we're nearing about 3 months into the game right now, and what I've noticed is there's a lot of different characters that people have built out, a lot of characters people are thinking about building out. And at this point, for level 80, the first thing that you should be building out, of course, is your PvP team, because then you can compete in PvP. However, if you don't care about PvP, or you want to just focus on PvE content, it doesn't matter, actually. It doesn't matter at all. I think the only thing you could really focus on at that point is Training Cave stuff, and then you would just want to build out more units versus not units. So I'm going to be going over some of the characters that I find to be useful in the Japanese version to build out versus some characters that I don't find useful at all that will be a little problematic. Why is the end grayed out? Can you guys be quiet? People are sleeping, talking inside voices. So there's quite an array of characters that you can build out at this point. And no matter what, the smart focus is the PvP team. But there are characters that do very well in Training Cave that I definitely recommend you building out no matter what. And these characters are really, really nice just in general, and may be nice for future PvP metas if you do ever get into PvP, or might be really good for raid bosses in the future. But the number one thing that I stress that you avoid early on is level 80ing your farming team. Level 80 a farming team doesn't improve the speed of a farming team. For example, if you were doing book stages, or if you were doing, say, free boss stages, or if you're doing, say, even the most difficult thing that you could auto farm, which is going to be the boss stages, none of that's going to be heavily improved by over a turn by taking characters from level 75 to 80. This is specifically just going to be for PvP teams and what you're going to need to do for their metas, or you're going to be for Training Cave, so your Training Cave is much easier. Let's work our way up from the rares. First off, we have a lot of rare units that are very good in the game, but the first three that need to be built out no matter what are going to be Elaine, Twigo, and Marmus. Those three are very, very nice. Elaine, of course, has a nice passive where he's able to give everyone on your team 10% attack related stats if they happen to be a green unit. Then we got Twigo, of course, giving everybody 30% HP on his passive, and he has a good ability on attack save. They're just raw damage. And then finally we have, of course, Marmite, who's going to be 30% HP to all allies, and he has an interesting set. His ultimate ability actually scales up with he scales up by defense-related stats. So you can actually lower an enemy by 60% defense-related stats at maximum ulti. So this is kind of cool, using this to lower a boss's defensive skills heavily. So that does help out. Characters, though, you will need to build out at some point. So if you do have excess rare metals and you're looking to build something out, and you end up having a lot of extra rare metals, what I do recommend building out for a lot of different fights is going to be Ruin, Judge, Hugo. These three guys are definitely worth building out. Simon, of course, is also worth building out sometimes, but Howzer you can kind of skip. Golgius you do need as well, so Golgius would be another good, but these 4 or these 5 would be also okay to build out. But the priority, of course, is Elaine, Twigo, Marmus. These will you need for reverse stages in the future, which is going to be the next big push after the Training Cave. But this is more an advanced thing, so don't do this unless you have all these 3 maxed out at level 80 already. Next, we're going to do the SR units and talk about those units and which ones are going to be really, really good to level 80. Arden is definitely not a skip unit. You don't need to build him to level 80. Currently, mine's level 70 on JP, and I was able to build him for reverse stages. You don't really need to go too far beyond that from my experience. Blue Arthur is a great unit for Final Boss Gother. This unit is basically we have SR Bond. SR Bond does a really good ultimate damage. I would say SR Bond would be an okay unit to build out at this point. He does have some association characters that he does work well with. He's got King, as well as Jude and Merlin that he can link to. So, link with him, but like his characters that he gives association to are Benny, Mario, Elaine, as well as Meliodas, and he only gives regeneration rate, which is really shitty. So he's a really shitty unit for that. But his passive ability doesn't really help out either. The thing that really is nice for him is that his ultimate does lots of damage. So if you're looking to roll back an ultimate in the training cave for one of the green fights, this is a good unit for that, specifically just rolling back the boss's ultimate and then just ulting. You can do that in one or two of the green fights, but it's not like needed. Kane to level 80, this is an okay thing to do. You don't need to do this right away. I would say this character can be like level 60 for a very, very long time. I don't even remember that when I leveled up my Kane to 80 on JP or if I even did it yet. But I can tell you that it's not necessary. You may need to do it for combat class, possibly for Hell Demon Gray, but I don't really think you might need to do that. Especially since if you have an Alioni already built, you don't need to build Kane. All right, SRDN is definitely a skip unit for this. Don't build her out if you don't need to. Unless you want to build her out for association, really want to max her out specifically for just association, you can do that, but I don't want to do that. Dogetto is okay for Training Cave. Kind of just a fun unit. You do need him for reverse stages for some of the stages, and he is a carry in the reverse stages, so if you do want to build him out, it's not going to be a negative. Reverse stages will definitely help there. Dreyfus, pick one, green or red. You don't need to build both. Pick one. I think I went with red because I was looking for something specific on his kit that really helped me out. The ability to infect and lower attack related stacks as well as get the 60% defense was very, very helpful in certain stages that I was doing for reverse stages, so that was helpful. You could go the green round if you wanted to. His ultimate also has spike, but he has low crit chance, I believe, that 30%, so that's pretty good. So he's okay. I don't know if I would like hard recommend it, but he's definitely okay. Then we got red SR Liz. This character I've kept at level 60 for a very long time and left at level 60 for all of Training Cave until very recently, so I could use her as an association unit for some characters. But she doesn't provide a ton of combat class. She's not extremely like needed to build out. You can leave her at level 60. You don't really need to build her out too much. Then we have the green and red Lizhawks. The red Lizhawk, if you wanted to bring her to a Hell Demon, you definitely will need to 80 her. However, I don't know if I would recommend that, as her viability starts to fall off as Hell Demons come out, so you don't really need to use her. She's definitely the best unit for Extreme Beams, which we're all living right now, so that was a super good budget build to do, and you don't even need to get her past level 70. Mine's still level 70, I don't even need to do it. Green Lizhawk is a PvP unit, by the way. If you're wondering what's another unit that you can use instead of Howzer or Blue Demon Meliodas, her name is Green Lizhawk. So if you're wondering about Blue Meliodas and why he's so good, Blue Meliodas has a base pierce rate of 40%, but he also has a little bit more resistance rate than Liz, and so Liz gets hit a lot harder. But she does still have the same ability to do damage as Blue Meliodas, and she has a stance cleansing ultimate that does a crazy amount of damage to single target. So if you wanted to do a pierce build with Green Lizhawk, definitely something you could do. And overall, she's a strong unit, but Howzer is just a better overall unit. If you wanted to build her out and didn't want to build out Howzer, wanted to see if you get more combat class between the two and try to build out different teams, she's a definite unit that people were using in PvP, and sometimes people were able to use Lizhawk and Meliodas in the same turn to just completely cleave teams, and they used Howzer backline to be extra toxic to have 3 pierce units, just in case one of them died, they would have an extra one coming out. So this is a maybe, up to you on what you want to do for your pierce teams for PvP, or if you want to use this for farming, probably not recommended, as when Blue Meliodas comes out, he's a better unit because his optimization is a little bit better. And that's just because the way the auto picks the cards. The other two characters, next up we have Frieza, not really a unit you want to build out. You do need her for reverse stages. I keep mine at like level 70 at reverse stages, so you don't need to do that. Gil Thunder, definitely build out to level 80, regardless of what you're going to be doing. This is definitely a 100% 80. He's definitely one of the best units to build out in general in the game, so definitely one of the best SRs. Blue Gil Thunder, this unit I went to 60 on for cosmetics initially, and then he was actually a good supporting unit for Training Cave, so definitely you can do 60 and just use it as a supporter. Very nice. Gother,
I would do to level 80 if you wanted to, if you wanted to use him as a supporting unit for your Escanors. If you don't want to use Merlin on the team composition, or if you want to use Merlin as an association unit for your Blue Demon Meliodas, that would make it so that you would have to use a Gother, and if your Gother is not 6 out of 6 ultimate, then you'll probably need to use a green Gother as a supporting unit, and this is a good, get by option. And he has a lot less combat class in general than the red version, so you are going to take a hit on combat class in general from him, but he does provide that 20% pierce rate that you would normally need for Escanor, especially since you're doing pierce rate teams. This is a very, very nice thing to have. Next up, we got Griamore. This blue one you can skip. This red one is extremely good. I like this character a lot for PvP teams, and his passive ability giving 15% HP skills is phenomenal. Definitely a super nice character to build out in general. He also has a decent amount of HP. I don't know why, it's really hard to get all the HP sets for max HP sets here. This was requested, but he has a very high amount of HP in general. Next up, we have Gila, and Blue Gila is a character that you can kind of play around with. She's a very good unit to have level 80 initially because she is a Jericho support. She's she's a Jericho support. She is a Gil Thunder support. She's a Howzer support. There's a lot of characters that she gives support to, and she gives attack to those units, and she has a lot of cosmetics, as you can see. So she is able to build out fairly well. Her combat cast is a little bit lower on the low end of things, and we do get a 6 out of 6 green Gila for Halloween. But seeing how we're not getting a 6 out of 6 green Lilia, we might want to consider building out some other units that we did not build out on the Japanese version. So as far as Red Gila goes, I'll go over that too and talk about her specifically to address that point. Gustav, definitely build out 6 out of 6. Go to level 80 with this character if you want to do high scores in Guild Boss for this season. However, if you're looking to not do high scores for next season, this character is not a unit because you don't want to use this character specifically for next season's Guild Boss. It doesn't help you. So level 80 right now, probably not the best bet, seeing how we're getting Einek in a week after that, so it's probably not the best choice. If you already have level 70, it's fine, but we'll see. We might rotate between guild bosses. There might be other guild bosses that would be useful for, but you can kind of hold off on this, but you really want to for a week. Hendrickson you need specifically for reverse agents is an okay association unit for Lilia. Howzers build out the 60 just for the cosmetics. Red and Blue Jericho, both of these units are really, really good. As you can see, for the Ifrit fight, we really needed the Jericho, and then for Final Boss Merlin, she was a really good unit to have as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be a great unit for that specifically for this time around, but she was a great unit for Final Boss Merlin. So we'll see what her main value is going forward. Blue Jericho, she's just a good unit as a supporting unit. You don't need to fully build her out. If you had already, great. If you didn't, oh well. The Blue Jericho is really good for Hell Red Demon, and she has a healing ability as well as an attack with cutting. And if you're using crit-based teams, it's really nice to do that. There are teams that allow you to crit on the Red Demon very, very easily on Hell, and her ability to have double chance to crit as well as lower defensive skills on the boss makes it so she does an okay amount of damage. Not insane, but definitely okay. And her chip healing that you get from is really nice because these 10% max HP heals, they can crit, and if they can crit, they can do a lot more healing on everybody. So definitely an okay thing to have for these, and crits are good. Crits are good. Next up, we have Jillian. Jillian, I would have to say, is just a level 60 character at this point. If you didn't already build her out for Final Boss King, if you already 75'd her or 70'd her, just leave her at 75. Don't build out further. Blue SR Meliodas, this is an 80 unit. You definitely want this unit as an association unit for a lot of other characters in the game. He's a great unit, and I definitely built him out. So any Elizabeth, look, the list of characters that he can be used for an association unit is extremely long, and most of them are Elizabeths. Some are Rimuru, some are Deanne, some are we have Death Pierce, Kane, Arthur, as well as Alione. The list is very, very long, and seeing how you get a lot of Meliodas cosmetics for free already, this is definitely a recommend character for me for level 80. I'm going to be doing it. Then we got Rimuru. I didn't get enough copies, so I don't know if I care enough. Honestly, I just don't know if I care. I built him out for Training Cave on the Japanese version, but we got all the copies that I needed. I think it's because I did pulls too, so I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do any pulls for additional copies of Rimuru. I really just don't care. Benny, Maru, and Milim just don't scale well enough later on for it to matter. So I think their time is come and gone. They're only a 2-week thing, so whatever. That's why I didn't even... I built them out to 60, I think, just for Training Cave. That's it. Then we got Slater. Yeah, 80 this dude. 100%. This guy is awesome in just in general. He's actually going to be really good for the next guild boss too. This Slater is really nice, so definitely consider building out this guy. Vivian, I already 75'd her, but I wouldn't. Weinhardt, of course, his time has gone. We hit the point in the game where Weinhardt's viability is dipped. He will be a recommended unit for Final Boss Gother, so he does have viability coming up soon. Final Boss Gother has this mechanic where you have to AoE him, and if you don't AoE him, then he full heals. It's really annoying. So Weinhardt having 2 area effect abilities is very nice. However, if he also seals debuff skills on the second turn, so that's also problematic, but shouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because the Final Boss Gother that we're going to have on the global version is going to be significantly easier than the one we had on the JP version, because I believe that we did not have the cleanse changes on Final Boss Gother on the Japanese version when Final Boss Gother was live. I don't believe we had those cleanse changes. I have to double check, but they made it a little bit more difficult than we had like lock cards for many turns. So it should be a lot easier than it was on JP. It's really easy on JP, but it was much more annoying. For SSR units, let's start at the top. Lilia. Nope. Then we gotta go to Arthur. Yep. Definitely a good PvP unit. He has longevity. Super good unit. Bond, no. Bond, no. Coinshot Bond. So there's a team on JP that's called Bond Pen. And essentially what you can do with this green Bond is you run a Pierce comp with blue Lilia as well as blue DB Meliodas, and you run green SSR Bond. And this team is called Bond Pen. The reason this team is a little good is because if you're fighting Valenti comps, Valenti lowers pierce rate on enemy team. Bond does not rely on pierce rate, but allows you to snatch Valenti's defense and makes it so that you actually do damage to Valenti comps. The whole idea of a Valenti comp is to negate enemy damage coming in and not heal it back up, but just negate it and then counter with ultimates. It's a really strong comp, but Bond is actually a huge counter to that composition because he lowers defensive stats. Red SSR Bond, nah, I did this for a meme. If you want to do it, go for it, but I did this for a fucking meme, and I let everyone know it was for a meme. That's why I said it was hilarious. Betty Maru, fuck no. Don't do that. That's terrible. Death Pierce, maybe. Showcase coming soon. This is definitely a maybe, because I have a showcase coming soon, and it's cool. Deldry, fuck no. Deanne, sure. There's actually Old Rush comps that still are viable with blue Deanne. Escanor is really prevalent right now on PvP, but I wouldn't really recommend it do it like hard. Just like, a solid 7 out of 10 maybe. Blue Matrona Deanne, nope. Red Matrona Deanne, maybe. This is a maybe. So the reason this is a maybe is I'm actually testing this right now on the Japanese version, and some of the teams that we're going to be using for Final Boss Einik, which is Guild Boss Einik, which is the second guild boss that we'll be seeing on global, but it's the return of the first one on JP. But the mechanics are very different. And this is kind of a maybe unit. We might actually want to build this out. Her ability to attack steal for 2 turns is really nice. Her crit chance is super good. She does decent damage. This is definitely a maybe. I'm considering this. I don't know if I would I would say the blue Matrona one has come and gone with viability, but this one has some viability coming up. So this is a maybe. The green one is awesome. I don't know if she's coming tomorrow, but we'll see. We have green Elaine. Never ever. So we're done with her. I mean, if you already 75'd her and you have her 6 out of 6 ultimate, just fucking do it. No one cares. You just be a meme lord, okay? It's all good, man. You already went in. It's fine. Then we got green Elizabeth. Yes, this is an 80. You don't need to do this right away, but this is an 80 at some point. This unit is one of the three or four best units that you can use for Grey Demon Hell. She's exceptional for that fight. She is probably one of the best units. I can literally auto Hell on Grey Demon every single day because of her and 2 other characters. So definitely super nice. Then we got blue SSR Liz, level 1. So why would you ever 80? Blue Lizhawk, this is probably going to be a big question. If you want to use her for PvP, go for it. I'm on the fence personally, because I might be transitioning more to green Lizhawk again. I'm not sure if I'm using blue Lizhawk. There's no real reason to use blue Lizhawk right now. If they come out with Molascula at some point too, maybe, but I'm kind of holding off on that. It's kind of a no for me right now. Escanor, if you're using for PvP, sure. If you're not using PvP, no. And if you're not trying to compete heavily in PvP, no. Do you need him to 80 level 80? No. Do you need it for 80 for PvP? Fuck yes. Okay? Don't build out Escanor unless you're using him for PvP. Period. Got it? Period. Okay, then we got Galland. I think 60 is enough. I actually don't know. Mine's level 80 on JP and was level 80 on JP for the training cape because I was using him in a PvP comp at the time, and I was using a Galland and Escanor, and I was doing some crazy things that were very different. Overall, Galland is not a bad unit, but his substats are kind of weak. As you can see, 30% pierce, 20 resistance, 15 regen, really low crit chance damage, and kind of really low crit resistance and crit defense. No lifesteal to speak of, but extremely high HP. And that's really all he gets is high base stats. He has a very high amount of combat class, but low substats. So you gotta have to realize that he's not very tanky and doesn't do a lot of damage unless you get amplify damage. So he's kind of a maybe. There are comps that work with him, but I'm not sure I'm gonna like hard push it from the vast majority of players. He is good for a training cave fight though, and I'm gonna level him up to where I want him to be. I think mine's already 60, but we'll see. Then we got Gil Thunder, Iron Water. Moving on. We got Gother. No for blue Gother. Red Gother, yeah, 100. This is the first thing you should 80. It's the best unit in the game. I mean, why would you not do Red Gother? Duh. What's up, guy? I used all my SSR medals for my new Escanor. Because you're stupid and foolish. You should have done Gother. It's the best unit in the game. Then we got Griamore. Iron Water. All right, then we got Gila. Okay, so I said I was going to touch on this. If you wanted to build out a red Gila right now, and you're really hesitant on if they're going to be building out other characters in the future, look at Gila subsets. Realize you're using this only as a supporting unit. At this point in the game, since we didn't get a 6x Lilia, we can kind of assume that Netmarble is probably not going to give us a 6 out of 6 Gila for Halloween, which is really unfortunate because I really like using that Gila on JP. She's super nice as a supporting unit, really fun unit to use on general. Great damage, cool cosmetics. Wow, maybe a waifu. I don't know. You, buddy. Overall, though, her ultimate has spike, but she has low crit chance, so it doesn't really synergize. It's not really a use unit, just kind of just a supporting unit. Whereas a passive ability is also kind of meh, and you don't really need HP related stats in raids often. You could potentially use this in Hell Red if you wanted to as a backline unit, but like Red SR Liz is better, so I don't know why you would. So this is kind of a maybe. If you already started on it, go for it. I mean, no one's going to stop you. Just do it. But if you haven't started on it, the blue one's fine for now. Green and red Hellbrum. Green Hellbrum only gets power creeped with the Easton banner. So once Easton comes to the game, no one uses Hellbrum anymore at all, ever. Unless it's in gray Hell Demon. That's the only time you ever see him. Everyone else uses Easton because she's so much better. She's got more stats, she's waifu, she's got better stuff, just in general, just better kit. Hellbrum for red Hellbrum. Kingbrum is still somewhat seen on JP. It's extremely rare to see it do well. I was clapping it all last week, like every single one I found. Because there's so many ways to get around a Kingbrum now, very few people use it. So I wouldn't say it's like a relevant comp, but it's still viable-ish. Just like Blue Demon Meliodas on JP, it's still viable. Sometimes. Last week, definitely not, though. That shit was getting cleaved. Hendrickson. Moving on. We got Howzer. Yeah, sure, if you want. If you're using it for a PvP team, absolutely. If you're not using it for a PvP team, you don't need ADM for farming. It's unnecessary. But if you want to, go for it. Only for PvP team. Jericho. Sorry, Jericho. Your time has ended. Final boss. You've already been used for the... one of the missions, and your time has come, Jericho. Your time has come. It was a long, good run with you, Jericho, but the last time I used you was most recently on the Hawk mission, and I haven't used you since on JP. I don't think I'm going to use you anytime on Global anytime soon anymore. I loved using you, but it's time to say goodbye, Jericho. Respect. All right, F's in chat for Jericho. F's in the comment section, whatever. Then we got King. He's the best PvP unit in the game. He's still viable on JP. If you're using him on your PvP comp, fucking duh. Otherwise, no. Green King. Depends. So, Green King and Liz, if you were going to be building out a DPS team for Hell Demons, yes. But only if you want to heavily invest in the King, a full attack and crit damage set. A lot of things you got to invest into for this King to work. Otherwise, budget options of Liz. It's just way better because the teams for Gray I can do in a whole different video. But this is not something you need to 80 until Hell Demons come out. So you don't need to do it like tomorrow, man. You can just chill. Now this is kind of a chill unit. You don't even use this unit for Training Cave because it takes too long to ramp up. You can if you want to, but I don't even have him on global shit. Just realized. Then we got Green King and Blue King. The counters from this are actually really nice for Training Cave. This one, however, is only good for the AoE fights, and it's okay. It's actually not bad for the AoE fights. If you wanted to build out either of these two guys, you could to 60, never to 80 though. Green Meliodas. Yeah, this is actually now a unit to level up. So for Training Cave, there is a fight for Hendrickson, and typically what I do is I use the Green Meliodas to fight Hendrickson, and that's no cap. I use him. So I leveled mine to 60 recently. I don't know how much further I'm going to need to go, but I do know that level 60 would probably be enough. I don't think you're actually have to go too much further than that because he will be helpful for the Hendrickson cave fight if it occurs. I don't know if this is going to be the same or different. Then we got Red Demon Meliodas. Red Demon Meliodas is a character to 80 eventually. You don't need to 80 him right away. It's a character that if you want to use him on a PvP team, sure, but otherwise, no. You only will need him for Hell Crimson Demon. You do not need him for anything else. Then we got Green Merlin, super good unit in general. One of the the trifecta units in general. She's always usable on JP in some fashion, depending on the week. And she's one of the best units in the game for Hell Grey Demon. So in general, yeah, she's a definite 80, 100%. Gother, King, and Merlin are the trifecta for sure of the characters always to 81st. These are the characters that are like the core of a lot of things in JP and Global. Then we got Merlin for Red Merlin. This is an interesting unit. This unit eventually will need to be level 80. Not right away, but definitely if you have invested into her, if you want to use a PvP team with her, go for it. She does have viability on JP. She's relevant right now for this week, and she's going to be relevant many other weeks. Overall, she's a good unit for many months to come because when she gets UR set, when she starts becoming like very, very hard to beat, she's extremely strong. So definitely consider building out a Merlin. I think that she's one of the best units in the game for PvP because she can do some serious work. There are so many toxic compositions that have brought with Red Merlin just freeze on everything. And you're using freeze, petrify, just locking everything out, ult rushing. It's literally the most toxic thing you've ever seen. And Red Merlin is stupid annoying. So if you were thinking about building her out to 80, we've gotten to a point in the game and where our equipment's actually high enough where you could potentially do it. It's an HP def set too. It's super toxic. So if you want to do something else that's toxic, Kabuki, for the next YouTube video, that's what you could do. HP def Merlin for Red Merlin. Definitely, yeah. This is a cool unit. I'm not sure if I would do it right now, but her passive, by the way, if you didn't know, pierce based. So if you want to scale even more Pierce on her, she has a low Pierce rate initially, but she scales very well off Pierce, and she gets a high initial damage target. So if you want to use 1-stars consistently on her, and you get Pierce from Lilia, you get Pierce from her passive, she does pretty good. And then freezing everybody the entire time. You can just ramp your Pierce and then just use her as a freaking toxic unit. I could see that being really annoying. So consider it. It's not like a need to do right now, but definitely a cool unit. Milim, fuck no. Rimmer, fuck no. Blue Slater, fuck no. Maybe for Hell Red later, but no, otherwise no. I'll asterisk this. Kabuki, just 80 it for the video, dude. If you're a Kabuki and you 6-6 your Milim, just do it, man. Just have fun. But it'll be like 2 weeks, but whatever, who cares? All right, guys. Well, my name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I wanted to go over all the units in the game and talking about them and give you guys an idea of why I would 80 each of the units and what they would be useful for in the future and what characters would be really good or not good to build out in general. And I hope I was clear enough for you guys to understand. But thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.